What if you stopped waiting until you had a full hour or two to practice and you started doing something real, something aware, and something connected for just 5 minutes? It might surprise you to learn the research says 5 focused minutes does more than an hour of distracted practice, and I believe it. Here's why. Have you ever skipped practice entirely because you only had 10 minutes? Be honest. I have totally done that. It's like, as soon as I get my instrument out and I get into it, I'm going to have to put it away, and I end up doing something else. Does a quote real practice session feel like it has to be a certain length to you before it counts? Oh, I didn't really practice. I just do you feel like you have to discount it? Wouldn't it be freeing to know that 5 genuinely focused minutes actually moves the needle for you? Have you ever read Atomic Habits by James Clear? He talks about micro habits and micro changes. And when we change some tiny percentage, but we do it every day, that percentages gets multiplied exponentially and we grow more than we ever thought we could. So what if you made a commitment to that little tiny piece, 5 minutes or 10 minutes every single day, no matter what your schedule looks like? And what if the length of your practice was never the point? If we haven't met, I'm EP Archer, and I help committed adults over 30 who play an instrument or sing create beautiful tone and unshakable confidence without compromising who they are or the music that they love. Let's quote Stravinsky. He says in Poetics of Music, "I have no use for a theoretic freedom. Let me have something finite and definite, matter that can lend itself to my work and become resistant to my touch." So Stravinsky was constricted by time, by specific commissions with defined parameters. And those constraints of his time were not a limitation he self-imposed. It was a condition that produced focus. 5 minutes with full intention is more finite and definite than an hour of wandering through what feels comfortable. And if we take just a minute to revisit Ericsson's deliberate practice research, remember the key finding that gets overlooked is top performers in every field average only 1 to 4 hours of true deliberate practice per day. We're including people who are professional violinists for a living or professional vocalists, opera singers. Beyond that, quality degrades. And I love singing for this because if you think of singing and practicing that, you would never try to do that for 8 hours a day. You'd destroy your voice. So singers are blessed in that they are forced to hone in and be effective and find creative ways of using their voice without crushing it. And if we could learn that as instrumentalists as well, we would change our practicing procedure and how effective it is. And it's not just our bodies that take a toll. Our brain's capacity for focused skill is limited. Shorter, more focused, practicing, targeted sessions are how our nervous system actually learns. So when we think about neuroplasticity, our memory consolidation, our skills are consolidated during rest, not practice. When I read that, it blew my mind because you think of like imprinting, right? I'm going to do this. And even if I'm being very somatically aware and very in touch with how it feels and getting that great technique, the general consistency or thought, like how we think about it, is the more correct repetitions, the more I'm going to ingrain it. But that's not when we're consolidating our skills. It's when we take the break. When we have short focus sessions followed by rest, we create stronger neural pathways because the bursts of recovery in between is how we build lasting change. And that's why when you work yourself to the bone, you crash out and you remember less and you're more stressed than if you hadn't practiced and you had just taken a day off. Wynton Marsalis talks about isolation, and I love that technique. It's the value of working on one thing, one phrase, maybe even one note, not for hours, for focused minutes. And if you're doing isolation practice, only one piece of one layer of one section of one chunk, you can easily focus on that and accomplish that in a short amount of minutes. We're adults and we are prone to the all or nothing. I've got to do like my whole concerto, or it doesn't count as a practice, or I have to learn 5 songs, or I have to play for at least an hour. We have these numbers in our mind that qualify, and we have these expectations. Let's let that go. Let's be free. Let's be hobbyists. Let's be amateurs, and let's have fun with this. And the reason we want to spend more time is because we love it and we're having fun, not because we feel compelled to or there's an expectation. A great micro practice structure is 1 breath, 1 thing to work on, focused repetitions with awareness and connection, and 1 moment of pure expressive play with something that you love. Then stop. That can be a complete micro practice session in only 5 minutes. So 5 minutes of full presence is real practice. You will be so surprised at how much you accomplish when you limit yourself to that. It's like, whoa, I have to really use that time well, or I won't do anything except kind of tighten my bow. So use that micro practice structure and let your identity build as someone who shows up every day, not as someone who has to practice for an hour or 30 minutes or has a specific limiting qualifier. Just, I'm someone who shows up. I'm someone who loves music. I'm someone who cares about what I'm doing and my passion enough to show up. Think about how you show up for others, for your kids, for your dog, for your job. There are so many things you already show up for every single day. Why not allow music to be one of them? Bring it into the fold. Allow it to be your inner circle and create an identity of someone who shows up every day. Keep that neural pathway alive for the next session, and stop, for the love of all that is good and beautiful in this world. Stop waiting for the perfect time or the perfect session or the perfect length. 5 minutes you have right now is enough. If you don't have your instrument, play a technical exercise or do a mental mind practice. And if you do have it, don't leave it in the case. Get a hook, get a stand, have it out so that you can grab it at a moment's notice. Somebody's late for a meeting, grab your instrument. Just do it and you won't regret it. If you have more time, that's awesome. Add another 5-minute block after a short break. 2 5-minute sessions with a little mini break in between to grab a sip of water or do a stretch is amazing and can get so much more done than a 20-minute block of unfocused. Let's try it together today and see what you notice. Remember, the hour or nothing or hour or more mindset is your enemy right now. What we want to do is just show up. And remember that your skills are built during rest, not during practice. So short sessions with recovery in between and getting good rest at night are the best way that you can lock in those neural pathways. Let's shift from I didn't have time or I don't have time to I show up no matter what, even if it's for 5 minutes. So do your 5 minutes today and come tell me about it. Violin players, hit us up in the facebook.com/groups adult violin. Everybody else, find me on Facebook, EP Archer. Tomorrow, we're going to close up this arc with a beautiful recap of these episodes. You're going to get bullet points of everything we've done so that you can enable effective practice that's exciting, practice that is fun, that is going to take you to the next level without overwhelm or burnout. I can't wait to see you there because your best music is on the other side.